set? Awesome.
First day working out all the kinks. How did they look out there?
I was pleasantly surprised with our group overall. Had a couple guys get dinged up, but that's kind of to be expected. Guys were playing hard. In general, though, really competitive group. A good amount of guys who've played professionally before, so a lot of this was review for them. But it was competitive, and it was a fun first day.
How did Jaden look his first day?
Jaden was dynamic as expected. Obviously, a very good athlete, and he makes the game faster naturally. But he did a good job, and a lot of this is going to be intro for him, right? So we talk about guys playing professionally or playing in the G League or playing overseas. Although he did play that year in Ignite, this is a very important time for us to make sure we teach and work with Jaden individually and then within our collective scheme about what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor.
I saw you talking with him, and a bunch of assistants were talking with him. What kind of things do you start? Like, how does day one look, and how do you go about that process of getting him acclimated?
Yeah, so you got to make sure we're not feeding him with a fire hose, right? We're trying to make sure we take it step by step and figure out early on. I think the biggest thing for Jaden is building the right habits, right? And we're trying to make sure within our schemes defensively and within our offensive system, not trying to throw too much at him. At the end of the day, he's a very, very talented player, but we're going to really try to just build him from ground up to try to make sure he's the best player he can be. But a lot of the details and things we're talking about is simplifying the game, right? Try to start from the basics and fundamentals and build from there.
How much do you notice between guys that have at least some NBA experience and the guys that are just coming in cold? Is there a noticeable difference just in they get it a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some levels to that. I mean, you can also tell who's come from a college program that runs some sort of NBA level system or NBA level coaching. We had Marcus Bingham in. He's coming from Tom Izzo's system at Michigan State. Coach Izzo does a phenomenal job preparing his guys to play in the NBA. So when he comes in day one, he's prepared. That's just an example. Justin Gorham obviously has played before, but he came from Houston previously, played for Kelvin Sampson. So the guys who are playing with little to no pro experience but come from those type of programs obviously come in, understand the competition level, which I think is great. But, yeah, you can tell a little bit, and it's nice to have some guys that have played professionally and gives them an opportunity to almost be a veteran within what we're doing. A lot of the things that you do in Summer League are going to be very simplified. So a lot of it's review for these guys.
What does Moses Wright have to do to kind of take the next step?
Yeah, no, I think Moses obviously this year had a phenomenal year in the G League, was with Agua Caliente and then with us, first team all G League, right? So that's pretty darn good in your first year. I think the biggest thing for him is getting adjusted to the NBA speed and NBA size. He's a versatile defender and obviously a versatile offensive player, but I think similar to Jaden and any young player is just making sure we simplify his game and figure out what is his NBA skill and continue to work on that. So he's done a good job this summer. I know he's been working hard, so we're excited to have him here for the next couple of days.
Obviously, the talent level is different, but what's the biggest difference in coaching Summer League guys as opposed to guys during the regular season?
I think you guys have all touched on a little bit is that IQ level, right? And it's nothing to take a knock on any of the young guys, but you work with an older player, older team, you end up feeling a little bit more comfortable with what they're doing. So, these young guys, they're excited to be here. They're excited to work. I would say the energy level that you're going to get in a summer league practice is going to be a little bit higher than an NBA practice during the middle of the season, just because these guys are fighting for their lives, and which is something that we really enjoy, and we want to make sure we coach them and try to give them the best experience possible. But I would say the biggest thing is just experience, right? Is playing in those game NBA level experience and playing against NBA schemes, right. Which come at you fast. If you haven't seen them before, the game speeds up. There's less control than in college. So it ends up just being that processing and decision making.
When you talk about the guys having that energy and fighting for their lives, what do you tell them to keep them in the moment so they don't get too ahead of themselves?
No, that's a great question. And really, at the end of the day, one of the things we try to talk to these guys beforehand is giving them some perspective. Like, this is a blessing for them to be here, and we're excited to be here as well. At the end of the day, let's control our controllables, right? So, when you talk about effort and attitude, can you control those two things? You can't control if you're going to make shots or not. There's going to be difficult turnovers. How do we respond to the mistakes that we make, as well as how present are we just day to day, are we excited to be here every single day? So there's not one, big speech or one, critical word that we use, but one thing that, we do try to focus on these guys is just getting better, right? And so the guys who are in our program already, building those habits, but even the guys who are going to be here for maybe only 12, 13 days total, let's make sure that we do justice by them by coaching them and making sure that they get set up for success.
Josh had talked at the end of the season about being excited, Josh Green, sorry, about being excited to have kind of a whole off season to really train and develop. What, if any, conversations did it look like about him playing this summer in summer league or not, and just kind of what did that look like for him signing up to be on the roster?
So, I wasn't totally involved necessarily in Josh's summer plan, but what I do know is Josh has been working very hard already this summer. He was one of the guys that had a very big chip on his shoulder after our playoff run and has had a phenomenal summer thus far. He's going to be out in Las Vegas with us, which is going to be great. We're looking forward to seeing him and being around him, as well as a few of our other roster players. But in general, his summer plan thus far has been pretty rigorous, and he's put in a lot of time. He did not go play with the national team, but he's already putting a lot of time into his body and making sure that he's able to have a good third year.
Are you saying he's going to be on the Summer League roster?
No, he will not be on the Summer League roster, but he will be out there in Las Vegas training, and we will be around him, getting our hands on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion.
All right.
St. Jean Bomb.
Yeah, there you go. No St. Jean bombs today. No thanks.